What's going on, guys? Welcome back. As you can see, it is the next day. It's actually a nice day out. Yesterday, it was pouring rain, but we did manage to finish putting the other side of the trailer wheels on the trailer, so we are ready to go. We are headed to the shop here very shortly, but we are waiting on Mark. Mark is dropping off the paint-matched mirrors. We're gonna get them put on real quick before we head over to the shop. We're gonna be turning some wrenches today, boys. I know you guys are like, Greg, do you even know how to do that anymore? It's been so long, but we're gonna head to the shop. We're just waiting on Mark. We're gonna wrap this up and then head over there. Alrighty, as Mark would call them, we got our field goal posts back on. They're looking so good. Got the new mirror glass, got the tinted little lens here, so everything just looks good. It's hard to tell details on camera, but they look awesome. Mark did an awesome job. We even got our regular antenna base. Mark even painted that. I can't even get this dang thing to focus, but we painted that. That's paint matched as well. There was a couple questions about like the steps that Mark takes to do this. Mark really, he owns a potato for a phone, so he didn't really film anything, but I'm sure he can. All right, so give us the rundown on the steps quick.
All right, well, you took them off.
We don't have to go over the steps of taking them off.
All right, well, all right, forget about it. Okay, anyway.
They're in your possession.
All right, I take the mirrors, okay? I try not to use any heavy chemicals in cleaning them, because what happens is on plastic, you use a heavy cleaning, it causes static. Okay, static is not your friend with plastic. So what I do is I start off with a red Scotch-Brite pad, okay, and regular Dawn dish soap, and a bucket, okay, and I scuff them down.
Okay.
Okay, scuff them all the way down, really, really, really good. Now the textured, and I noticed the 4th gen ones seem to be textured more than the 3rd gen ones.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll take a piece of 600 wet sandpaper, and I'll go over it and try and smooth it out a little bit, but you can only smooth it out so much. Then I take a high build primer, okay? But before that, I almost forgot, I spray Bulldog adhesion promoter on it. Okay?
So adhesion promoter first.
Yeah, made by Clean Strip. I swear by it. It bites at the plastic even without sanding it. I sprayed it on first. It's a transparent. You just put it on a glossy coat. Then I go to a high build primer. Now what I did differently on these, because it's black, is I got a black high build primer. So when Greg gets a little chips in it, it's not as bad.
Because they're bound to happen.
It's going to happen. You know, you're not going to stop for chipping.
The moose antlers are going to attract all of the stones going down the road.
Correct. So then I lay the base coat down, okay? Let that flash.
So really it's the adhesion promoter and the high build primer.
That's the important part.
And you sand it before anything.
Yeah, the adhesion promoter does not get sanded, but the high build primer goes on, then you let that dry, and then you wet sand that.
Oh, you wet sand that.
I wet sand that with 800.
Okay.
Okay, that gets fills all your little bumps in and everything.
Yep. And
then after that, clean it off. Again, I do not use any like prep sol on them. I'll use like a little bit of like a rubbing alcohol, because it's not as staticky on the plastic.
Kind of sounded like you said rub me alcohol.
Okay, if you want to call it that. I mean, because once you get static on plastic, it just sucks all the dust to it. And what I do with the clear is I actually do add a flex additive in it. Even though these aren't flexible, it does help out with rock chips. It keeps the paint a little on the rubbery side.
It's bouncy.
Yeah, and that's it,
So I'm sure there's going to be people out there that might do it differently, but there was a couple people who asked, so I figured we would let them know.
It's not a hard process or anything. I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to take the whole mirror apart and do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
everything apart, but everything you touch on these things usually break.
Yep. So we got these. Mark tinted these. A lot of people are asking about what he uses to tint these, as well as what he uses to tint these. You just mix. What
I mix? Okay, I use DuPont, which is now a different company, but it's still got the DuPont brand on it, clear. And I put a little bit of a DuPont single stage in there.
So you just mix clear with?
Yeah, I put a couple drops of black single stage paint in the clear, mix it up, wet sand the light down with 1,000.
Oh, really? Wet sand the lights too?
Yeah, wet sand the lights down with 1,000.
Oh boy.
Just to smooth them out a little bit, and then right to clear.
And that's it.
And how many coats you put on?
Just how dark you want it?
You put the first coat on, it really doesn't look like you did much. So naturally you want to throw more black in there. But you just put the second coat on, you see it get darker.
Yeah.
And then a third coat. These are 3 coats, and
these look a little dark, but it's because we're in the shade right now. You can actually still see.
Darker than I did mine.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Because you just know,
Yeah, I know.
Look at what we got over here. Look at what we got over here. I don't know. Do we have any packages coming today or not? No! Alrighty guys, we are finally back at the shop. Mark is actually ordering new wheels and tires for his white truck. We got some things coming up. The white truck is going to be coming here. We're going to be doing a bunch of work to it. Trying to help him figure out wheels and tires. So it's actually already 8 o'clock, but we are at the shop. A couple things to go over here. We did pick up our man Mikey G's factory wheels and tires to stick on the 05 before it gets stuffed in the trailer. So we need to do that. We did actually get a couple things in here for the first gen. Like I said, I took off the compressor cover for the manifold charger. We did get that welded up, so we now have our weldable flange that we can weld our V-band pipe to. The other part is not on there, but we did go ahead and get that welded on there. I mean, Dan hooked us up with that, so thank you to Dan for that. Like I said, we have our new Hamilton 160, 165 valve springs. I can't remember exactly what they are, and upgraded keeper and retainer. So we've been waiting for our own valve spring compressor tool. Kind of borrowed one. You know, I just figured, you know, we should probably have our own, seeing that we've needed it more than once. But what I did not know is on these 12 valve, they actually make like 3 valve spring compressor tool. There's like for a factory one, Hamilton cams one. I'm assuming it's the actual size of the dish on this part. So we went ahead, and we know we have Hamilton springs, so went ahead and got the Hamilton cams valve spring tool. So I just want to be brutally honest with you guys. You know, we haven't been in the shop for a while. And honestly, like, if I'm being completely honest, deep down, I'm struggling a little bit getting over here. This shop is actually extremely close to my house. You're like, Greg, what's the deal? Like, you've been coming to the shop. Over the winter, I'm like, man, I don't want to be in my garage. This is nice. This is big. Now that it's like summertime, and you guys know that we started working out of the garage and outside and stuff like that, it's home. I can go inside, I can come back out. I'm struggling to get my butt over here, stay over here without just trying to want to, you know, be home, go inside when Allie puts the baby to sleep, you know, stuff like that. So I'm just trying to deal with that, adjust to that. So we're getting back to the swing of things. Don't worry, guys. I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, oh my God, we're in the shop. We're finally back in the shop. So we are trying to work on, you know, the whole house thing, shop thing, stuff like that. So anyway, just wanted to try and let you guys know that we're dealing with it. Let me get this light switch on. But anyway, guys, I refuse to not get something done. I think we are going to go ahead and try and get the valve springs changed out on here. So to do that, we already know we are on number 1 top dead center, which means number 6 is top dead center. If you guys want to verify what I usually do, if you just want to, you know, double check yourself, this is why I have this wire here. If your injectors are out, you can kind of see, you can actually see the top of the piston down in there, but you can stick this down in the injector hole and be like, yep, there's the top of the piston, just to make sure. So we can go ahead and do that. We can change 1 and 6 right now, and then we're going to need to rotate the engine over. I was actually going to Loctite this down and kind of put our oil pump in as well, get the front cover back on, but I forgot my torque wrench is at the other house. So we're running into some tool issues. I got to keep running stuff back and forth, but we are working through it, boys. We are working through it. So we're going to go ahead and I think change these out. Brief stoppage here for some side notes. If you guys saw, I did take off the head stud for this tool to kind of fit. It actually has a little centering index hole that meets up with your head stud hole, and then your bolt goes right to this hole right here, and then our bridge kind of just spans over and compresses the valve springs down. The valves are basically resting on the piston that is all the way up in the cylinder bore. I know that we've gone over this a little bit on 24 valves, not so much on 12 valves, but this is kind of like a all-inclusive if you guys did not know. So when you compress the springs, the valve will actually, they won't drop quite yet, but the valves will stop on the piston right here so they don't fall down into the engine. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our little keepers here, kind of got to use a little pick and get them out, but you can kind of see they have separated down now. Now that the springs are compressed, I'm trying to show you down in here the best I can. It's kind of hard to show engine detail, but you can kind of see the stem of the valve is raised up a little bit, and you can kind of see I need to get a pick, but when I get a pick, we'll be able to scoop these right out of here, and then we'll release tension on this nut. We'll be able to take our valve springs completely off. So that's the next step. All right, so one more tip, I lied. If you guys are having a hard time kind of and have a bigger magnet, and what will help too is trying to put a little bit more tension on the actual spring and get that down a little bit more. That will give you a little bit more room, just like that, to kind of get that in there and pick that out. So just maybe that'll help one of you guys as well. You can kind of see this one kind of fell down a little bit, but putting a little bit more tension might give you a little bit more room to kind of work around that and get those out. Alrighty, and there is the finished product of the upgraded valve springs, keepers, and locks. We are all good to go. You just want to make sure that you are definitely seated against the stem, the cutout in the stem of the valve. That way it's secured. One of the things that the guys did at Freedom Racing Engines that I've never seen before, and I guess it's kind of carried over from Top Fuel stuff that some of those guys came from, just getting like a little rubber dead blow hammer and just kind of giving it a little tap, just a little pressure to press down on that just a little bit to make sure that you are fully seated. If you're not, I'm assuming that things are going to go flying, so watch out. But just one more reassurance before you go ahead and reassemble your top end. But that's what those guys do a little bit. So I went ahead and did that, and everything seems to be good. So again, you would be able to see if there were, you know, any abnormal kind of ones riding up or something's looking a little funky, but that looks perfect. Kind of just how like these look, you know, everything just looks kind of flush, kind of seated out. So, all right, 5 more cylinders to go. Alrighty guys, currently 10 o'clock. Buttoned up some things inside the cover here. Got the vacuum / power steering pump on and all bolted up. That's all good to go and tight. Got a new gasket behind there. 2 bolts that hold that on, one on the top, one on the bottom. Got the oil pump on, which was new last time we had this apart, probably, I would say, less than 5,000 miles ago, to be honest, with how many miles we don't put on this thing. So, was a new oil pump right from Cummins, even though it says made in China. Go figure. New oil pump. Got the cam retainer all Loctited. That's bolted on there, good to go. Again, forgot my torque wrench to kind of torque this down. But other than that, the front cover is ready to go back on. All of the valve springs are done. Knocked that out, so that is all completely done. We are pretty much ready to reassemble the valve train. I'm not completely sure. New injectors are, I believe, coming. We got to talk to our man Mikey G about that. Getting ready to reassemble and start with the compound piping here probably later on. Obviously not this evening, but knocked out a couple things. Did not get to the 05's tires. Probably going to wrap that up tomorrow. probably try and put some miles on that, get some driving on that. So look forward to ripping tomorrow on the 05. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure this upcoming weekend on the 21st, 22nd, whatever Saturday is, New Media, Pennsylvania, East Coast Diesel Nationals. If you guys don't need another reminder, or if you do need another reminder, I should say, we will be there. I think everyone's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great time. Make sure you guys are there. We'll be all set up racing the 05. So I'll see you guys then. Hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already. Well, I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. And this weekend. So that's it. See you guys.